Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices. I'd like to start with the NASDAQ and then the S&P and then move into the European markets. And with the NASDAQ here, we're still expecting one more high to come into play. We knew that we would have some resistance at this old high here, and that's occurring, of course, and we can see that you know when a market's getting to a top because you start getting these lows here start overlapping the previous tops here, and that becomes like the market sort of creeping to the upside and overlapping wave structures, so you know that it's topping. So we knew that it was topping, but we just still think that there's another move to the upside to make a high above this wave 3 here. And with the S&P 500, we're also looking just on the 1 hour chart here. We'd count from this wave 4 here. We're looking at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here and 5 to move up to making one more high here. If I've counted wrong within this section just through here, by the by, so if I have, then this number here, the 2650 here, becomes extremely important. If that becomes the retested resistance, then we need to look to the downside and also look for the short trade too. So the short trade setup would be the market coming down to the 2600, bouncing back up, moving through and then retesting it, and then that low that it makes here, that's what we call the reference low here. So allow the market to come through. Once that starts retesting back up here, then put your order to sell 1 point below here, but of course taking the concept of the trading levels pricing points here as well, the price. But yeah, that breach of that low there would be the short trade that way. And that's a bit of a safety check too, because if the market just spikes down and then decides to move up from that point, you don't get trapped that way either. Okay, so even if you're trading the European markets, if that 2650 becomes a retested resistance and fails here, then you'll need to be on the short side of those markets as well. So when we look at the DAX here, it's quite simple as well, because we're lucky we've got the 13,000 here. So just get that a little bit more accurate there. So it's always natural for a market to come down and bounce off a large number like it has done here. But the question is, after the bounce, do we get a second lower bounce? And then if it moves through, then it's going to come back and check here. Okay, so that becomes your reference point here, and then a move down from that point. So just pointing out the short trade setups because we don't want to miss anything. But as it stands at the moment, we are looking at this being still looking for another move to the upside here, and that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 finishing here and then moving down from here. But at the same time, I don't want to miss a trade setup. The trade setups are equally important, if not more important, than the actual Elliott count, because the Elliott count can be, as fantastic, as good as it is. We have to be good enough to be able to interpret it as well. And the thing here is that with this market here, we've got a very sideways choppy pattern through here, as you can see. So we need to use all the tools that we can in this instance here. The other count here as well that is possible is that I've got this blue wave B here can be in here, and the way that can work is that the A wave can be here, this can be an A wave here, B wave here, C wave here for the A wave here, and then if I can just borrow these, copy this here for an A wave here, B wave here, and a C wave here for this B wave here. So we can have this as an A wave to here, B wave to here in 3 waves as an A, B, and C, and then come further down from here. That's why I don't want to miss this little area here. And if I can just cut through to the Stoxx 50 at the moment and find it. Okay, here we go. So with the Stoxx 50 here, just on the 4 hour chart here, it can count, just see this move down on the DAX. We're looking at this being 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then 5 here, but this is really overlapped that top of that wave 1 here, you know, so it's highly unlikely that that's going to be the case. It could be a more complex sort of correction as well, but if I looked at this in simple terms, then I would need to look at this here as, oops, there's an A wave here, B wave here, and a C wave sitting here. And then we're moving further down at that point, which is basically down for 1, back for 2, and, you know, just building lower in here. But the thing is that this can also just be, you know, it can get more complicated here too. It can also, this can be here, this can be here, that can, the ABC becomes an A wave, this becomes a B wave here, and then we get a C wave up here, and then we go down. So there's a few variations in this. It's not as simple as an impulse wave being 5 waves here. But this moving down through here, really overlapping the top of this one here, when you compare this back to the DAX here. So, I mean, this is overlapped here as well, in this case, through here. But we're going to stay with it for the time being. But, you know, when it comes to trading, we need to be on the right side at the right time. And the right side would be gravitating towards the closest, largest number, because that's where the support and the volume is going to be. The volume is the support. So, you know, at this stage, it's still support here. So we can't really short it here because the risk would be too high. We need to be under it. We've been looking for short trades, as you know, but none of the retests have failed. So, you know, this move down through here is retested back. It went higher and came back down, created, you know, not a new low. This one here, this one here, this one here, this one here. So we're still looking, you know, this would have been a short trade below here. So we're still looking for that short trade. We know that all this is corrective, you know. We know that this is impulsive. We know that this is corrective. We know that we're going down. It's just when, you know. So the Elliott at the moment is in a bit of a guessing game. So the 13,000 as a resistance is the short trade there. This is much the same for the AEX as well here. You know, with the AEX here, we know that we've got an impulse wave here, and it was possible that this could be an A and a B and a C to this wave here, and we could move up from that point, but you know, it's not likely looking at the DAX now and the Stoxx 50. So in here, we were looking at this as an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave here, but even so, this case here, we were counting 5 waves up here, which we did, and pegged a top here. We didn't get support on top of the number 3 here, which is group 1. So that stopped the trend going from that point. So it's also possible to have wave B here and have this as 1 here and 2 here, 4 over here, 5 over here, 3 here, and this here as well, having 1 more wave to the upside. We're starting to come a little bit too low down here with this move now. So if I take this here and look at the bottom of wave 2 here and take it to the top of wave 3 here, we can see that the 38.2% retracement, whoopsie-daisy, is, you know, being breached as we speak here. So not that little move's a big deal here, but, you know, it does give us that. But at the same time, if we were going to go bearish from here as well, I think it's sort of interesting in that it appears that we've also got, get rid of that, it also looks like we've got a 5 wave sequence here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So even if we come down to, say, the 45 here, the next strongest number down, we would still see an A and a B and a C coming back up to the supply level 1. That would be supply level 1 here, that block, and then this is the other block here. But we're likely to come to this number and then fold down from here. So if we get up to this point here, if we get 5 here, then we're going to get 5 over here. And this 3-wave price action will help us confirm that we're actually going down lower at that stage, and that can be our short trade coming into play here. You may already be short through here on that retest here, which would be fine to do as well. And we'll just need to watch this particular move up through here. So it's possible to have a top in play here, but it's also possible to be wave 4 here as well. And this is much the same for the FTSE as well. So we're just sort of looking for tops coming into play here. In this case here with the FTSE here, we can have this move up here as wave A, and then back for wave B here, and then up for wave C here, and have a top in play here. So it's also possible that we've got wave 1 here, and wave 2 here, and wave 3 here, and wave 4 here, pulling back into the 74.50 area, or a little bit lower. The 38.2% retracement is a little bit lower here, so it can spike down a bit lower. But even so, any move down through here into this space here would have a retest back up into this space here. So if we note that this is, it will work like this, and then it would move down. So that line through there would be our short trade here. So we've got time to just allow this to sort of play out here as well. So I don't have a trade here for us just yet here. I mean, the weakest market that I can see is the top 50 stocks in the Eurozone with the Stoxx 50. But coming back to the DAX, we also want the DAX to have that resistance under the 13,000 to confirm that that we're looking at resistance now, and then we can bring into short trades. So we're not quite here just yet with this. Let's see what Friday delivers. And if Friday is strong, then Monday's going to follow through as being strong as well. We'll be looking to the upside. But if Friday session is weak, then we can expect Monday to be weak as well. And then we know that we're in a bearish mode from that point, and we can start looking at those short trades from that point. Okay, cheers.